A government fixed every flaw in its market. Inequality, monopolies, pollution, all gone. Perfectly fair. Then, 10 years later, the nation was far poorer than its neighbors. Nothing was mismanaged. So what went wrong? To answer that, we have to start with something more basic. Every economy must sound from a single village to a superpower has to answer the same three questions. Economists call them the three basic economic questions. And every time you choose an answer, two values collide: efficiency and equity. Today we'll look at those three questions, the tug-of-war behind them, and the systems built on top: market economies, command economies, and the mixed economies in between. When this ends, that country is capitalist, that one is socialist, will stop being two boxes and start looking like one dial. That's the promise. You remember Tom? The shopper picking coffee, the cafe owner, the island chief, and last time, the detective. Today, Tom is a chef. He's standing over a giant pot of soup he has to serve the whole town. The Nobel-winning economist Paul Samuelson took all the countless economic choices out there and boiled them down to just three questions. And it's not as grand as it sounds. It's the same as making dinner tonight. To cook dinner at home. First, you decide what to eat, the menu. Second, how to make it. Order in or cook it yourself. Third, once it's ready, who gets how much? A national economy is exactly the same. Just these three. Let me put them more precisely. First, what and how much to produce. Which goods and services and in what quantities. Second, how to produce them. The same product could use more people or more machines, be made here or abroad. It's the question of how you combine your resources. Third, for whom to produce. The word produce is there, but this one is really about distribution. Who gets how much of what's earned? The wages, the interest, the rent, the profit. And the order matters. Like the dinner menu, what to make has to be settled before how to make it can follow. So, who answers these three questions? That's where economies split. Leave the answers to the market and you have a market economy. Leave them to the government and you have a command economy. Those are today's two main characters. Before we meet those two, we need to know what they're fighting over. It's efficiency and equity, the real subject of today. Efficiency first. It's simple. For what you put in, how much you get out. That ratio. Say you use the same 10 workers for a month. Method A makes 100 units. Method B makes 120. Method B is more efficient. Same input, more output. It works for consumption too. If the same $10 buys you more satisfaction at one store, that's more efficient spending. In one line, minimum cost, maximum satisfaction. It's the same idea as maximize net benefit from last time. In a world of scarce resources, this is nearly every economy's #1 goal. But chase only efficiency and you miss something: equity. And be careful here. Equity is not the same as equality. Two people, A and B, work equally hard and produce the same result. Give them the same 300 each. That's equality. But suppose A is wealthy, while B is poor and supporting a family. Equity looks at that circumstance. If society taxes 30 from A and adds it to B, A ends with 270 and B with 330. It isn't equal, but because it accounts for their situations, it's equitable. Why does that matter? Think of it this way. Put a muscular sprinter and a toddler who just learned to walk at the same starting line and say, fair, everyone starts together. Is that really fair? Equity is what looks all the way down to that starting line. Now, today's key picture. Efficiency and equity ride a seesaw. The problem is, more often than not, getting more of one means giving up some of the other. Reward people strictly in proportion to output, and they work hard. So efficiency rises, but the gap widens and equity falls. Share it out equally regardless of output, and equity improves. But the reason to work hard disappears, so the whole pie shrinks. That's why economists call these two rabbits. Very hard to catch at once. But it isn't a strict either-or. Hard as it is, there are spots where the two overlap. So really, most economic arguments come down to this. Where on the seesaw do we stop? Keep this seesaw in mind. It'll keep coming back today. Now let's meet the two systems properly. A market economy. The three questions get answered by market prices that no one is directing. Buyers and sellers keep adjusting prices by feel, and somehow resources flow to where they're needed. Adam Smith called this the invisible hand. This system tips the seesaw toward efficiency. On the other side, a command economy. Here the government answers the three questions directly. What to make and how much, what the interest rate should be, what rent should cost. The state plans and controls it. This system tips the seesaw toward equity, or toward some chosen goal. So a system, in the end, is just this, who you hand the three answers to. Let me clear up something. People mix up constantly. Capitalism and a market economy are not the same thing. They're two different axes. Market versus command is about who decides, as we just saw. Capitalism versus communism is about who owns the means of production, like capital and land. If private hands can own them, that's capitalism. If only the state can, that's communism. The axis of deciding and the axis of owning. Two different things. They just happen to pair well, so they always travel together. Market economies with capitalism, command economies with communism. No one forced the marriage, they're each other's type, so they came together naturally. We lump them, but strictly speaking, they're separate. So, just hand everything to the efficient market, right? This is where the second half of today begins. A pure market chasing only efficiency has 6 problems it can't fix on its own. We call them market failures. 1. Inequality. Chase only efficiency, and the split goes to extremes. 2. Monopoly and oligopoly. When competition breaks, the market's magic breaks with it. 3. Too few public goods. Things like national defense or roads, no money in them, so no one makes them, yet everyone needs them. 4. Externalities. Like a factory's pollution, harm that never shows up in the price. 5. Information asymmetry. Buying a used car when only the seller knows the truth, and the deal collapses from the distrust. 6. Unstable business cycles. Booms and busts, unemployment and bubbles, over and over. So the bowl we call the market cracks in 6 places. 6 cracks. Someone has to step in. So the government rolls up its sleeves. I'll fix all of it. And it really does. Once the government answers the 3 questions directly and controls prices, the 6 cracks get patched one by one. Inequality shrinks through redistribution, monopolies get regulated, public goods get supplied directly, pollution gets outlawed. Sound familiar? That's exactly the perfect government from our opening. It fixed every problem the market had. Judging by this alone, there's no reason this country should get poorer. And yet, while it was patching those cracks, somewhere no one was watching, efficiency was collapsing. Let me show you with Tom the chef's soup. The market economy cooked the soup delicious. That's efficiency. But there wasn't enough of it. Half the town went without it. That's inequality. So the government steps in. Not enough? Just add water. And it pours water into the pot. The volume jumps. Everyone gets a bowl. Equity, solved. But the soup turns bland, too much water, and the flavor is gone. That price mechanism that used to run on its own, those incentives, press them down, and efficiency caves in. And that is the answer to our opening. The government looked like it did nothing wrong. It fixed every problem the market had. But in the fixing, it lost efficiency. So the whole nation grew poorer. Trying to fix a market failure, it caused a bigger government failure. So the world learned it the hard way. A pure market and a pure government. Both come at a steep cost if you just let them run. The answer was a compromise. Not dumping in a bucket of water, but adding salt a pinch at a time, tasting as you go. Keep the market as the frame, and let the government step in only when a serious market failure hits, and only as much as needed. This is a mixed economy, and its ideological partner, modified capitalism. The origin is a fun one. During America's Great Depression in the 1930s, the government built a giant public corporation, the Tennessee Valley Authority, to prop up the economy. That was the starting point of modified capitalism. And today, nearly every country on Earth is exactly this, a mixed economy. So, market economy or command economy isn't really a switch you flip, it's a dial you turn. A market that's 100% or a command economy that's 100% doesn't exist in reality. Let's place some countries on the dial, from command on the far left to market on the far right. Farthest left sits North Korea. To its right, China, still led by the Communist Party, but sliding quickly to the right. Around the middle is South Korea, wobbling a little left or right each time the government changes. Further right, the Nordic countries, with their very high taxes, and farthest right, the United Kingdom and the United States. And what's the scale? Roughly, the income tax rate, and how far the government reaches into the market. The further left, the bigger the government and the higher the taxes. The further right, the more it's left to the market. One last myth to clear up. Market economies are efficient and command economies are inefficient. That's not quite right. Picture efficiency as a bullseye. The truth is, both systems can hit it. It's just that a market economy is a well-trained marksman, a high chance of hitting. A command economy is an amateur, and sometimes it's even aiming somewhere else entirely. So even people who back the market don't love the market itself. They pick it simply because it hits the bullseye more often. A system isn't the goal. It's the tool for hitting that target called efficiency. So today in one line, there is no perfect system, only the trade-off you choose. The government fixed everything and still grew poorer because it lost efficiency. And if you think the pure market was the answer, it fails 6 times over. The 3 questions, what, how, and for whom, never go away. We only choose who answers them and where to set the dial between efficiency and equity. So before you fight over market or government, ask this instead, where do we want to set the dial? Here's today's homework. Think of one policy debate you've run into lately and find the tug-of-war between efficiency and equity inside it. Taxes, the minimum wage, welfare, this seesaw is hiding in there somewhere. That's been the big picture of how an economy is organized. From the next episode, we step into how the market actually answers that first question. What and how much to produce? That's supply and demand. See you then.